I have stumbled across solid gold this time, guys. I know what I'm doing with the rest of my pear harvest this year. I didn't know pear preserves could be this good. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Louisiana Homestead. How are you all doing out there today? I'm glad that you've joined me, and I hope that you're doing well. Thank you all for subscribing, and for those of you who haven't, I hope you will consider it. Today I'm going to be making some ginger pear preserves with some of the pears that I have coming in, and the first thing I have to do is peel some pears. Here's my big old basket of pears that I picked. I have to get them peeled and cut up finely. So let me get started. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is cut them away from the core. And once we have them cut away from the core, we're going to cut them up very fine. Like this. So I'm going to go on ahead and cut all of these up like that. As I get them cut up, I'm going to be dropping them into some water that has some bottled lemon juice in it. And I'm just going to spurt a little bit of this in there liberally, like that. And I'm going to keep on cutting and dropping them in there. That's going to keep them from turning brown. I've got about 5½ cups of pears chopped up here in this bowl. And I'm about to grate me a tablespoon of this ginger root that I have. And I wanted to tell y'all too about how many pears it takes to do that 5½ cups. Well, a pear this size will yield about 1/2 cup once it's peeled and cut up. So it depends on the size of your pears really to get to that amount. But that should give you some idea. Now you see this pear here is a lot bigger. The one at the top here, it'll probably yield closer to 1 cup. This ginger root I have here is got a little age on it. But that's okay. It's still good on the inside. It's still fine. Normally I've seen them peel these with a spoon, but that's not working for me, so I'm just going to peel it with my peeler that I have here. And then I'm going to grate about a tablespoon of it that I'm going to be needing for this recipe. Okay, I've got my canner prepared. I've got the water in it. I put a rag into the bottom of it to keep the jars from touching the bottom. And I'm going to have my jars in there sterilizing in just a moment. And also, I've got my other pot ready to put my ingredients into. And I've already got my 5½ cups of pears in there. And to that, I'm going to add 2 cups of granulated sugar. And I'm also going to add another 1/3 of a cup of sugar into that, like that. And we're going to put our grated, and we're also going to put our grated ginger into that. Okay. Into that, I'm going to be adding 1/3 of a cup of mixed lemon and lime juice. Now you can use the juice from the fresh lime and lemon if you like. I'm using bottled because that's what I have, so that's what I'm using. I've got this started out on a kind of a low heat, and I'm going to keep stirring it until the juice starts coming out, and as I get more juice in it, I'll turn my fire up. I'm just showing you what I'm doing today in my kitchen, doing some canning. You may not follow this exactly. What I recommend is getting a canning book and following those instructions. Especially if you're new to canning, you want to learn the ins and outs of it just to be safe for you and your family. Always do what you feel is safe in your family. What I'm doing here, I feel is safe for me and my family in my kitchen, and that's what I recommend you do as well. This right here is a very good book to have for canning. I'm not affiliated with the Ball Home Preserving book and guide. This has been on the fire for about 5 minutes, and you can see a lot of juices already come up out of those pears. So what I'm going to do now is take it up a notch. I'm going to bring the fire up some. Most recipes I've seen for preserving pears usually has some spices in it like cinnamon and nutmeg. Well, this one doesn't have that. It has the spice of fresh ginger root. And that's what's going to give this one that special, distinctive, exotic taste and flavor that I'm looking for, just to do something different with my pears this year. I think it's going to be really good because it smells fantastic. I have this boiling, and I'm going to let it boil for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to check its gel stage. Also, I'm going to be stirring this frequently to make sure that it doesn't stick. And you may be wondering, what is check the gel stage? What does that mean? When we get to that stage, I'll show you. I'll try to explain a little bit of it right now. Some of you may be wondering, why is she talking about checking the gel stage in something that she didn't add any gelatin to? Well, because a lot of fruits already do have pectin in them. Pectin is naturally occurring in a lot of fruits, and pectin is what helps make jams and jellies gel. To make a pectin gel, you have to mix it with sugar and acid, and I did add sugar to this, and I did add acid in the lemon and lime juice. Now, the amount of pectin varies depending on the ripeness of the fruit and the amount of the sugar and the acid that is added. Now, this is all a little more complex, but you can look into it for yourself. You may have noticed that I've put in some underripe fruit, some of the really small pears in mine. And that is also part of what's going to help this pectin to thicken in this recipe. Some fruits have high pectin and some have low pectin. When you have the ones with the low pectin, you have to mix other things with them to help that pectin to thicken. But you can look into all of that. The information is readily available on the internet and in several books. Now, this has been cooking for another 5 minutes, and I've really got the heat up, and this is when you really want to pay attention that it's not sticking, because you've really lost some liquid by now. It's starting to thicken up, and it will definitely stick if you're not paying close attention. You do not want to walk away from your pot at this point. So we're going to keep testing it to see if we've reached that gel point that we were talking about. Okay, you can see it's coming off a lot more slowly. You know that you're getting a lot closer when it gets to this point. Well, I was a little disappointed in this because I guess maybe I should have known better, but it only made 1 pint of preserves with just a little bit left over. There it is. It's about to go into the canner all by itself. I just want to put it in the ice box. And this is all that's left. That's not enough to fill up another jar. So I'm going to be putting that into the ice box for sure. I'll go on ahead and seal this one. But if you want to make this recipe, you'll have to do it times 5, because my canner will hold 5 of these jars. So the next time I do it, I'm going to do 5. I'm going to multiply the ingredients times 5. The recipe says that it makes 7 8-ounce jars. The size jars I was using were 16-ounce jars. So it made 2 8-ounce jars. If you count what's left in the pot, it might have made 3 8-ounce jars, maybe. So you got to watch some of these recipes. Sometimes you do them and they don't yield like they say they would. Another great way to check to see if your gelatin is working correctly, you can put a saucer into the freezer and then put about a teaspoon of your hot liquid onto it and put it back in the freezer for 1 minute. Take it out, and when you push against the edge, if it forms wrinkles like that, you see that? That means that you're at the proper stage. So good. Well, let's test this preserves out and see if it's any count or not. If it's gonna be worth making again or not. And doubling that recipe like we said. See if it's any count or not. And I'll let y'all know if it's worth making it. Here's the moment of truth. Let's see. Yes, it is worth making. It's very, very, very good. Of course it has sugar in it, so it is sweet. But you can taste that ginger, and you can taste the light notes of the pear in it as well. And it has that tanginess from the citrus that I added into it. I like it a lot. It's very good, y'all. It's kind of like, it's somewhere like in between. It reminds me kind of like of a peach jelly, kind of. And it also reminds me of a wild plum jelly that I did one time, because it has that good tartness to it. I like it a lot. It's very good. I am going to multiply the recipe times 5 so that I can get me a full canner out of it while I still have me some pears. It's very good, y'all. Very good. It's delicious. I love it. And it made a beautiful color. It is so good, y'all. Very good. Get my one little jar out of here. That's all by itself. But look how beautiful it is. It made a very, very pretty presentation. Beautiful color. Really beautiful color. The texture is very nice. I'm definitely going to be making more of it. I love it. Okay, thank y'all for joining me in my kitchen today, and where you get to see some of my mistakes, and hopefully you won't have to make the same mistakes. I try not to make mistakes, but sometimes they happen. I know that y'all saw in this recipe that it didn't make as much as the recipe said it would. If y'all have ever had that happen to you, leave me a comment. And also, I would like to know if anyone's tried this recipe before, or tried a similar or even more divine pear canning recipe. Please leave me a note in the comments. I will love to hear your stories. Thank you for all your comments. I love reading them. This one finishes with a beautiful golden honey color. Look at that. It's transparent. The gel in it is transparent, and it is a nice thick body to it. It is divinely delicious, and I hope you'll try it. If you do try it, I know you'll love it. It's very easy to make. Of all the jams and jellies that I've made before, this one is very easy to make. And if you try it, I know you'll love it. I hope you do. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for subscribing, and thanks for all of your comments, everybody. Y'all take care of each other, and until next time, bye. And I've lived in Louisiana around a lot of pear trees and a lot of pear canning my whole life, and I've never come across a pear preserve recipe that tastes absolutely divine like this one does. No insult to anybody who's been making pears around here, pear preserves around here, but this one tops them all, I guarantee you. I hope you'll like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, bye. Well guys, I've stumbled across pure gold this time. I've discovered what I'm going to be doing with the rest of my pear harvest this year, for sure.